Do-Rag Wisdom here, and it's still 40 days since the coup. Now, I have a really hard time sleeping at night. I mean, I have a weird way of sleeping. Like, I'll catch little cat naps sometimes. And, but I suffer from this depression, and, of course, it's been tough for me realizing I'm gonna, I'm an old man now, Oh, the absurdity of life, right? But I've learned stuff, I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to be but I've learned some stuff. And I just have to say to anybody watching this, I'm begging you, please. Look on my YouTube page. There should be something on there. Somebody put a bunch of phone numbers on there. Real nice that they did that. I didn't have to. People you get in touch with and write. This country is under threat. I'll say that this is a civil Cold War that's being waged by the rich, greedy bastards of the world in this country against the rest of us. And right now this creep wants to put ExxonMobil in the State Department. I mean, if that doesn't tell you anything, right? He wants to put a creep, a doctor, quote unquote, who took the Hippocratic oath to do harm, and he wants to take away everybody's Medicare along with the GOP. But here's the most important thing that I want to tell you. How many times do we as citizens of this country have to be kicked in the ass before we learn? How many people does this piece of shit birther bastard gonna kill, gonna murder, before people wake up? Now he hates the free press, he hates free speech. This is and he's putting in these plutocrats that want to take away everything we have, and the next thing they want to do is, of course, have war also. And getting back to this pick he has for the Middle East, for Israel, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, I'm going to say again, and I want to repeat, this creep, this birther bastard, this son of a whore, is trying to start a fight with the Arabs. Now, I remember when I was a kid, and I remember a lot of the bullies. And I mean, my friends, I despised the bullies. And I remember one of the things bullies like to do is get other people to fight in front of them. Like they're they're like the emperor, and they want the little people. They're the alphas, and they want the betas and the whatever to fight for them. And I'll never forget one of these creeps. I was going home from school, and I ran into an acquaintance, a kind of friend, and there was some kind of fight situation going on. I don't know how it got into that, but this creep walks up, and he somehow starts thinking this guy that was with me was getting in a fight with another person, and he's trying to get my friend into a fight. The guy wouldn't do it, so this bully pushes him into a pile of dog shit. Now this comes from when I was a kid. I mean, I remember every bully, creep, and if I had the power to kill with my mind, like I've seen in my favorite science fiction films, like Forbidden Planet or The Brood. These creeps, these bullies, this creep that did that to my friend, he would have been writhing on the ground with his organs and bones and muscles on the outside and everything else bloody and dripping out on the floor. The ground, I mean. So here's birther bastard putting this creep in to be the ambassador to Israel. And this is a way to get two people to fight. So he could sit there and then 3,000 people be killed here again or more. Maybe people over there also will start killing each other. And this will give him an excuse to get rid of our freedoms, persecute American Muslims, all kinds of trash. Of course, eventually people will start hating my tribe, the Jews, because, remember, I'm an atheist, but I'm still a tribal. I apologize for that. I mean, I'm an atheist, but I'm tribal. Okay, sorry. It's all their fault. They got us in a war. They got us in the war. You understand? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm having such a hard time like sleeping and this whole thing. Again, I'm going to ask the question. How many more people in this world have to be murdered by the likes of the Trumps before we wake up? This is the playbook. Now, I'm 66. I'm old enough to know, folks, the playbook of these right-wing GOP turds. Here is the playbook, okay? 1. Make sure you destroy the social programs. Get rid of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Make sure workers don't have the right to organize. You'll keep all the jobs here. Make sure you don't pay them a decent wage. Make sure the insurance company can decide who lives and who dies. Talk about death panels. Just wait till you see the birther bastard and GOP death panels. Make sure that the corporations and oil companies have all the rights in the world. Make sure they have the greatest tax cuts you could imagine. The greatest tax cuts in the world. Make sure that you tell people, well, it's going to, it's trickle down. But it's really, they're eating from the table, these rich son of a bitches. They're sitting at their tables. Its drippings are dripping down. And they're not sending the drippings down to the rest of us slobs. No, they're saving their drippings and putting it back into themselves. Okay, so the economy's going to go down. The middle class is going to be eaten. There's going to be nothing left. Okay? The money, there's going to probably be, since Goldman Sachs is going to be in the midst of our government and all kinds of other crap, that's going to go down too. All right, so you'll have people will be in the streets, people have no health care, they'll have no rights. It'll be just like the end of the 19th century with these rich bastards having all the rights of the world and your children being grinded under their feet, being worked to death and not being paid a decent wage for it. But that's not enough. You need a war. So they're waging war, a cold civil war on us here because every person that this creep is assigning to his cabinet is going to hurt us. Along with those GOP bastards. So the next thing is to have a war. Have a war with something, somehow, to completely drain everything. Because they love war. War is peace to them. When you have a war, that means that you can do a lot of other things that detracts from the real issues. People hungry, people ignorant, the schools going down the drain because they're not being supported. Everything's being privatized. People in the street, and then of course terrorism, buildings blown up, 3,000 people dying. A war. You'll see. Don't listen to me. You'll see. And I want to tell you, you should fight now. We should be standing up now before this shithead gets into office, before the 3,000 people die, before they're in the ground. Haven't we learned? Haven't we learned yet? How many more people have to be hurt, have to die in useless wars and corporate greed and everything else for corporate greed? How many more? When are we going to wake up? And I'm not finished with this discussion, folks. Nah. The rich hate us. And I say most of these people who are rich, these greedy bastards, the ones that are running the GOP, these corporations that are countries in themselves, they hate us, folks. They want to hurt us. And this bastard has this shit that this birther bastard's gonna help them. So there's gonna be war here, the rich against us, and the rich putting us all into the wars around the world. Your kids are gonna die, and more terrorist attacks. And then he'll say, well, it's all the Muslims' fault, it's all the Mexicans' fault. Oh, we gotta crack down. Oh, it's the media's fault. He'll tweet. You must wake up. Before this creep gets into office, we must wake the fuck